the real work is really to be that remote and align to the frequency you want to experience, and see the external world, the life you're experiencing, as just a mirror of your frequency. The life is not providing for you, your frequency is. Hello everyone, this is Kevlan, and here I like to talk about science and esoteric teaching, spirituality, and share my experience in only one goal: to help you remember who you are. And in today's video, I want to talk about frequency. I want to talk about our energy field, this electromagnetic field that we have around us. And if you've been following me and if you've been listening to my videos, you probably know that I like to call this energy field, or the information that we have in our energy field, the biofield, a magnet. Is a magnet, meaning that it's going to attract event, circumstances, people, and experiences in our life. And when I talk about the information in our energy field, what I mean by that is basically our state of being, how you feel and how you think and your belief system. So everything is recorded into our energy field, whether you're conscious of it or not. And based on that information that is stored in your energy field, you're going to, like, the external world will basically mirror this information that we have or that we carry around us. So we can call information, we can say it's frequency, because based on the information it's going to affect the frequency. So just to put it in simple terms, what I mean is that our energy field, this biofield that we have around us, is basically the remote. So think of a TV, and you have a remote, and you can change the channel by pushing the button. And what's the difference between the different channels, aside from what you're going to be able to see in your screen, is just a frequency. You're going to have to one frequency will be channel 1, and then going to channel 2, which is going to be another frequency, and channel 3 another frequency. And depending on the information in those frequencies, you're going to see an image. Sometimes it's going to be a movie, sometimes it's going to be in some news, or the forecast, or the weather forecast, whatever it is. But you just push a button and say, hey, I want to watch this today, and you push a button and you align to that frequency, and then the TV, all the TV does is just converting that frequency to an image. And so I like to use the TV as an example, because it's so obvious and it makes so much sense for you to understand what we are. So our body and our energy field in particular is a remote. So if we want to watch a specific story that we call our life, or if we want to attract some specific event or live some specific experiences, we need to align ourselves to that story or that experience that we want to live. And how we can align ourselves is basically align our frequency, align our state of being. So align the information to that frequency or to that story you want to experience, and then the external world will just mirror it. That's just what it is. The external world is just a screen. Just imagine you have the TV, the external world is just the screen, nothing else. It's just what you can see and perceive is just the screen. It's just the actual visual of the information you carry in your energy field. And the more I go through my own experiences, my own life, and my own belief system, and dismantling my own conditioning and so on and so forth, the more I realize this is so powerful. Because for a long time, so we get attached to a story that we see, like an external story that that we have, a life or an experience, or some people maybe, or a job, or whatever it is, and we get attached to that and say, hey, if I quit my job, then how am I gonna be able to live or to get money? But at the end of the day, what I'm realizing more and more, at the end of the day, it's not your job that is providing. It's your frequency. It's nothing else. The job is just a mirror of the frequencies that you have. So if you have a vision, and that's what the state of thinking, you have the vision and you want to have a certain experience, and you can really visualize it, and you can really have all the details and specificities of that. So you send that signal. And then you have the magnetic signal, which is the emotion, your state of feeling, which is going to attract that experience into your reality. So now I realize that what is providing is not my job, or whatever experience I'm currently going through, it's not something that it's happening outside of you. It's just a channel that you picked up, a channel that you aligned yourself, or your state of being is aligned to that channel, and then you're just going to experience it. It's just going to be mirrored back to you in our life, in this holographic reality we live in. So when you get attached to someone, something, because we are afraid of losing that person, or losing that job, or losing that thing, because if we're like, oh, I'm going to lose it, and then as a result, I'm going to have a consequence of losing that experience or that job. Or, for example, like it's so easy with a job. If you lose that job, you're like, how am I going to pay my bill? Because how am I going to get some money? But at the end of the day, your job is not providing. Your frequency is providing by aligning with a certain experience, which is a job, which is going to provide you an outcome, which is going to be money. But at the end of the day, money is just a frequency, it's just abundance frequency. And if you decide you don't like the story, you change the movie, but you stay in the same frequency, you just carry the same frequency, and you change the movie because you don't like the story in the movie, then guess what? You're just going to see a different movie, a different experience, a different story. But as long as you still align to that same frequency, the outcome would be very similar. So that's why some very successful people, at one time I heard a story about someone who was really successful, like a billionaire or a millionaire, like lots of money, very successful, like having different companies and doing stuff like that. And one time, one of his company, or the project he was working on didn't work. It was kind of a failure, and he went bankrupt. So basically, the business that he had was no longer valid. And the guys didn't panic at all. All he said was that that's who I am. So even if this didn't work, but this is who I am. So I am going to attract something similar in my life, or a different story, but the frequency will be, because it's who I am, and that the signal I sent, the frequency will still be there. So the story will be different, but the outcome will be the same. So the guy didn't panic at all, because he knew he was carrying that abundance frequency. So he knew that even if this particular experience ended up not working, he knew that because this is who he was, he will still attract something that continue to mirror what he has. And when I look at my life, I have so many examples into my life where even when I was working full time and I had a job, I've always carried that freedom frequency within me. I've always focused on the freedom, and I worked in past life with that freedom. I was an explorer. I was exploring, so I was like living a free life. And I've always carried that frequency within me. And the funny thing is, no matter what company I work for, what country even I work for, I still had the same outcome. It was very flexible, very free. And always people came to me and they were like, oh, that's impossible to get a job like this, or, like, you're so lucky to get a job like this. But it was not the job, because I had the same experience in a different country or in a different company, and every time it was coming back to the same thing: getting my freedom, getting my time for myself, getting the flexibility. And every time, everything was organizing itself toward the same outcome. No matter what company I work for, big or small, no matter what country I work for, I always had this freedom is because it wasn't about the job. So it was not the job that was providing me that freedom. That was the frequency I was carrying. And even if I was like, I don't like this job, I'm going to switch and work for another company. Guess what? I was still carrying that frequency, that freedom frequency. So the new job I had, the outcome was the same. Flexibility, freedom, time for myself. So this is just unbelievable that when we start realizing all of this, that we don't pay attention too much on the outside. And if we don't like something outside of us, if we don't like something in our life, if we don't want to be experiencing something in our life, then it's an indication that we need to change our frequency to align ourselves to what we want. And I'm not saying it's an easy way or an easy job to do, but that's the work. That is the work. The real work is really to be that remote and align to the frequency you want to experience and see the external world, the life you're experiencing as just a mirror of your frequency. The life is not providing for you, your frequency is. And once you start to shift in the mindset and understanding this truth, then you lose fear, because now you're like, I am the one aligning, I am the remote, I am the technology. So why would I fear something that I am the one aligning to a certain outcome? If you live your life in stress, in anxiety, in fear, guess what? You're going to keep it's going to keep mirroring outside of you, and you keep aligning to a story that will reinforce that feeling of stress, anxiety, and fear. So change the channel. If you don't like horror movie, stop watching horror movies. Stop aligning yourself to that frequency. If you want to live a life with light and peace, and change the channel and watch a movie where you're gonna see it's gonna be it's gonna be laughter, it's gonna be lightness, instead of watching this horror movie and keep reinforcing things of fear. Change that channel. You are the remote. Nobody else is. You are the remote. And that's what you need to understand is you are the remote. You have to take responsibility and you have to take your power back, because it's so liberating once you understand this and you take your power back and you realize that you've been the power from the start. You've been the one that you've been waiting for. You can be a chosen one if you decide to choose yourself. That's just how it works. If you like this content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends, family, or someone who needs to hear this message. Like the video for the algorithm. Don't hesitate to put a comment and tell me what you think about the content or that video in particular, or if you have any questions perhaps, or things you want me to talk in the future. I'll be happy to read you and hear from you. I also left in the description the link for my book, The Science of Breaking Free, where I really provide a framework based on science and esoteric teachings to really to make you understand you are the one you've been waiting for. You are the one that is creating your reality from the start, and you are the one that can rewrite the story if you don't like it. So check out my book. It's on Amazon, and the link is down below. And then I also put the link for my website as well as my transformation programs. If you're interested to work with me, or if you want to have a chat with me, I invite you to check them out. In the meantime, I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next one.